Welcome, lovely viewers, to another exciting video. Greetings, viewers. Get ready to immerse yourself in the world of Vahid Halilhodžić in this video. Vahid Halilhodžić, born 15 October 1952, is a Bosnian professional football manager and former player. He is regarded as one of the most controversially successful Bosnian football managers, due to his successful tenure in coaching various national teams yet having problematic relations with his teams and players due to different approaches. Regarded as one of the best Yugoslav players, Halilhodžić had successful playing spells with Velež Mostar and French clubs Nantes and Paris Saint-Germain before retiring in 1987. During that time, he earned 15 full international caps for Yugoslavia and was part of national squads who won the 1978 European Under-21 Championship and played at the 1982 FIFA World Cup. He was top scorer of the French Ligue in 1983 and 1985. In the early years, Halilhodžić turned to coaching and, after a short stint as a sporting director at Velež, permanently moved to France in 1993 after fleeing war-torn Bosnia with his family. Since then, he managed a number of teams in French-speaking countries, and his achievements include winning the 1997 CAF Champions League with Moroccan side Raja Casablanca, leading French side Lille from second level to third place in Ligue 1 in less than 3 years, winning the Coupe de France with Paris Saint-Germain, and winning the Croatian League in 2011 with Dinamo Zagreb. Halilhodžić also qualified for the 2010 World Cup with Ivory Coast, although he was sacked only months before the final tournament, and the 2014 World Cup with Algeria, with whom he reached the round of 16, Algeria's best result in history. Later, he qualified for the 2018 World Cup with Japan, but again was fired just prior to the tournament. After a short stint with Nantes in 2018, where he helped avoid relegation to Ligue 2, Halilhodžić became head coach of the Moroccan national team, whom he qualified for the 2022 World Cup. Like with Ivory Coast and Japan, he was also sacked by Royal Moroccan Football Federation on August 11, 2022 after Morocco's poor performance at the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations and his fallout with star player Hakim Ziyech. Let's transition to early life and Velež and uncover its significance. Born in Jablanica, Halilhodžić started playing football in his early teens at local Minnows Turbine Jablanica, as the club's ground was located some 100 meters from his family home. According to his admission, he did not consider becoming a professional footballer at the time and instead chose to continue his formal education, moving to the nearby city of Mostar at age 14 to study at the local electrotechnical high school, without ever appearing for Turbine in an official match. Nevertheless, it was in Mostar that he first started taking football seriously, as he went on to join Yugoslav First League side Velež Mostar Academy at age 16, in part on the insistence of his brother Salem, who at the time played for the club as a striker. Halilhodžić then went on to play there at youth levels for the next 2.5 years, and, upon signing a professional contract with the club, was sent on a 6-month loan to second-level side Nurta Mekovi to gain some experience. Upon his return from loan, he quickly broke into the first-team squad in the season, forming a successful attacking partnership with Dusan Bijevi and helping Velež finish the season as league runners-up behind Red Star Belgrade. Halilhodžić then went on to become one of the club's key players throughout the years, appearing in a total of 376 matches and scoring 253 goals for the club, including 207 appearances and 103 goals in the Yugoslav First League before leaving the country in September 1981 to join French side Nantes. Earlier that year, he was instrumental in winning the club's first major silverware, scoring 2 goals in their Yugoslav Cup final win against El Jesnia. Get ready for an enlightening exploration as we dig into Nantes and PSG and understand its role in the broader context. At Nantes, he struggled in his first year, although he quickly became a first-team regular, scoring 7 goals in 28 appearances in the season. He also got sent off in the first round of the UEFA Cup versus Lokeren and received a 4 matches suspension from UEFA. The following season, he helped Nantes win their 6th French championship title and was the league's top scorer with 27 goals in 36 appearances. Halilhodžić went on to spend 5 years at Lobejoia, appearing in a total of 163 league matches and scoring 92 goals for the club, also becoming league top scorer in the season with 28 goals. In 1986, Halilhodžić decided to return to Mostar so he could spend more time with his father, who in the meantime fell seriously ill. While negotiating a new contract with Nantes, he intentionally asked for a salary bigger than anything the club could afford so that he could be released and return home. However, Francis Borrelli, chairman of Paris Saint-Germain, stepped in and made him a fantastic offer to sign a 1-year contract with the intention of bringing Halilhodžić to Parc des Princes in order to strengthen the team for their upcoming European Cup campaign. Halilhodžić accepted the offer and went on to appear for the club in the first 18 games of the season, scoring 8 goals. However, his mother back home died during the season, and it was then that Halilhodžić decided to finally retire from active football. Now, it's time to shift gears and explore international career. Halilhodžić was capped 15 times for the Yugoslavian national team, scoring 8 goals. After debuting as a full international in June 1976, he also appeared in a few matches for Yugoslavia under-21 team in 1978, helping them win the 1978 European under-21 Championship where he claimed the Golden Player Award for the best player in the tournament. Halilhodžić, who was 26 at the time, took advantage of the rule that allowed to players over the age of 21 to participate, hence him and Velež Zagreb, who had also already debuted for Yugoslavia full squad in 1977, were the 2 senior players brought in to strengthen the under-21 squad. Spanning 9 years, Halilhodžić's time with the national team was marked by frequently alternating ups and downs, periods of automatic inclusion followed by years-long omissions and frustrating substitute stints. He made his debut as a substitute at UEFA Euro 1976 under head coach by Mladini during the third-place match versus Holland that Yugoslavia lost at Zagreb's Maxima Stadium. The 23-year-old Halilhodžić came on for Slavia Ungel. Over the next couple of years, he recorded 2 more substitute appearances, first in September 1976 in a friendly against Italy in Rome and in November 1977 at home against Spain, the infamously violent qualifying home loss at Belgrade's Moroccan that ended Yugoslavia's chances of going to the 1978 World Cup. Let's now turn our attention to Euro 80 qualifying and uncover the fascinating insights it brings to the table. It was not until October 1978 that now 26-year-old Halilhodžić, riding high from his under-21 European Championship win, got his first national team start, the opening Euro 80 qualifying clash versus Spain at home in Maxima. With his first inclusion in the starting lineup by returning coach Mladini also came his first goal. Yugoslavia was down in the first half when Halilhodžić pulled one back in the 44th minute for which ended up being the final score as Yugoslavia again lost at home to Spain. With his performance versus Spain, Halilhodžić's stock was somewhat raised, and as a result he got to start the next qualifier away at Romania that Yugoslavia also lost, this time. The second consecutive qualifier loss prompted the end of by Mladini's time as head coach. He got replaced by interim coach Dragan Jerković. Halilhodžić played the next friendly match under Jerković, scoring a hat-trick against Greece. The resumption of Euro 1980 qualifying 5 months later in April 1979 saw the return of Miljan Miljanić to the Yugoslav bench as the first permanent solution at the head coaching position. Miljanić made major changes to the team he inherited from Mladini, with Halilhodžić one of the many casualties. The changes worked as Yugoslavia won its remaining 4 qualifiers, including a win away at Spain as well as its 2 friendlies versus Italy and Argentina. None of the 6 matches featured Halilhodžić, but the opening 2 losses still proved too much to overcome as Pavi finished a point behind Spain in the group and did not progress to Euro 1980. Without wasting any more time, let's jump into the fascinating world of 1982 World Cup. Halilhodžić made 2 substitute appearances at the 1982 World Cup, playing the last 15 minutes of the controversial group match versus Spain as well as the entire second half against Honduras. For the position of forward at the tournament, Miljan preferred Safet Sui, and in his later interviews, Halilhodžić often expressed dismay and disappointment with head coach Miljan for not giving him a more prominent role in the Yugoslav team at the 1982 World Cup. On multiple occasions in the years and years, looking back on his playing days, retired from playing football, Halilhodžić expressed bitterness over not getting a bigger part in the national team during the years and years, sarcastically citing his surname being too long for Belgrade scoreboards as the reason, thus insinuating that discrimination against Muslims was behind his lack of playing time in the Yugoslavian national team. In a 2023 interview, Halilhodžić claimed that Yugoslav politics had a strong influence on the country's 1982 World Cup squad selection, adding non-specificity that certain players had to make that team and that Hajduk Split and Red Star Belgrade players were privileged over those from comparatively smaller sides. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of Raja Casablanca and discover its practical applications. In July 1997, he signed with Moroccan side Raja Casablanca. In his first season with the club, he won the 1997 CAF Champions League in December 1997 and the Moroccan Championship in May 1998. These successes raised his international profile. Let's now enter the realm of Lille and discover the fascinating stories it has to tell. In October 1998, he returned to France to coach Lille, which at the time was struggling to survive in the French Division 2. His first season at the club ended with Lille finishing 4th, missing a promotion spot on goal difference. In the season, Halilhodžić's club dominated the competition and finished top of table, 16 points clear of second-placed Guingamp, earning promotion to the French Ligue 1. Lille's strong performances on the pitch continued the following season, and they finished 3rd in the French Division 1, only 7 points behind champions Nantes, thus qualifying for the UEFA Champions League for the first time in club's history. The following season, after knocking out Parma in qualifying, Lille finished 3rd in group stage behind Deportivo de La Coruña and Manchester United, progressing to the UEFA Cup where they reached the round of 16 before being knocked out by Borussia Dortmund on away goals. Brace yourself for an enlightening exploration of Rennes as we dive into its profound implications. On 14 October 2002, he was hired by another Ligue 1 club, Rennes, to save them from relegation after the club had picked up only 8 points in the opening 10 matches of the season under Philippe Bergerou. Halilhodžić then managed to take the club to a 15th finish in the 20-club league, avoiding relegation zone by 2 points. After his successes with Lille and Rennes, he started to become one of the most sought-after coaches in Europe, and whilst receiving offers from several German and Spanish clubs, he joined Paris Saint-Germain in June 2003. Let's now shift gears and explore Paris Saint-Germain through a critical lens, uncovering its strengths and weaknesses. During his first season at the helm of PSG, the club experienced one of the greatest and unexpectedly successful seasons in its history by winning the Coupe de France and arriving 2nd in the Ligue 1, just 3 points behind Lyon, qualifying for the Champions League. Halilhodžić's second season at the club, however, was not a success. From their opening Champions League group stage home loss versus Chelsea, to their French league struggles, PSG never succeeded in replicating the winning form of the previous season. Going into the final round of Champions League group stage fixtures in December 2004, Halilhodžić's team still had a chance of advancing, as beating CSKA Moscow at home would have seen PSG move on to the knockout stage. Even just a draw combined with group leaders Chelsea winning or drawing away at Porto would have ensured progress, while a draw regardless of the other match outcome guaranteed at least a spot in the UEFA Cup round of 32. The club, however, suffered a disappointing defeat at its home stadium, courtesy of a Sergei Semek hat trick, which meant straight elimination from Europe. It was a bitter loss that even prompted club president Francis Grail to publicly relay his disappointment at the lack of pride shown by the squad, though remaining doggedly coy when explicitly asked about Halilhodžić's future at the club. Now with only domestic competition to worry about, PSG began the calendar year 2005 looking to improve its league standing. Sluggish form continued, however, and on 8 February 2005, following a defeat at home versus Lens that saw PSG drop to 12th spot in the Ligue 1 table, the club's management decided to sack Halilhodžić. He was replaced by the coach of the reserves team, Laurent Fournier, under whom the club was knocked out of Coupe de France by Ezra in March and eventually finished 9th in the league. Without further ado, let's move on to the topic of Trabzonspor. On to October 2005, Halilhodžić was signed by Turkish Spor League side Trabzonspor. Although he led the club to 4th place in the Spor League just behind Istanbul's Big Three, thus qualifying for the UEFA Cup, Halilhodžić decided to leave Turkey in June 2006 after just one season with the club. Now, let's redirect our focus towards Ivory Coast and discover its significance in our narrative. In May 2008, Halilhodžić was hired to train the Ivory Coast national team, captained by Didier Drogba and including the likes of Yair and Kolo Toure, Salomon Kalou, Emmanuel Abou and the young Gervinho. In a 2-year unbeaten run in African qualifiers, the team qualified for both the 2010 Africa Cup of Nations tournament in Angola and the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. In January 2010 in the quarter-finals of the Continental Championship against Algeria, however, the Ivory Coast were eliminated after Majid Bora scored a equaliser in injury time, with Hamma Barca adding Algeria's third goal in the opening minutes of extra time. The defeat came as a huge disappointment for many Ivorians, for whom the national football team played a central social role and a source of national pride and unity, especially as the country was recovering from the civil war and preparing for its first post-war elections in October that year. As a consequence, Halilhodžić was fired on 27 February 2010, less than 4 months before the 2010 World Cup Finals tournament in South Africa. In the upcoming section, we'll be dissecting Dinamo Zagreb and exploring its implications in greater detail. Back in Europe, Halilhodžić was announced as the new manager of Croatian champions Dinamo Zagreb on 16 August 2010, signing a 2.5-year contract and replacing club legend Velež Mostar, who had been fired after the team was knocked out of the Champions League qualifying on penalties by the Moldovan side Sheriff Tiraspol. Although eliminated from the Champions League, Dinamo had the UEFA Europa League to compete in, and Halilhodžić was tasked with guiding Dinamo's European campaign while continuing their dominance in the national championship. Club fans immediately took to Halilhodžić, as Dinamo started playing an attractive and more attacking style of football. On 16 September 2010, exactly 1 month after signing his contract, he led Dinamo to a somewhat improbable victory over Spanish side Villarreal at the start of the Europa League group stage. Despite some encouraging results early in the season, Dinamo eventually failed to progress past the group stage, losing the deciding match in December 2010 at home against Greek club PAOK. Despite the setback, Halilhodžić stayed on due to support of both the fans and club management. In the Croatian First League, the club was a runaway leader without any real competition, managing to clinch the domestic league title months prior to season's end. Simultaneously, issues arose over the renegotiation of terms of Halilhodžić's contract and, on 6 May 2011, 2 matches short of the end of the season, he abruptly left the club following a vicious shouting incident with Dinamo's president Zdravko Mamić in the team dressing room at Maxima during half-time of the league match versus Inter Zapree. The spotlight now falls on Algeria as we delve deeper into its details. On 22 June 2011, the Algerian Football Federation announced that Halilhodžić would take over the vacant Algerian national team manager position starting on 1 July. On 2 July, the deal was made official with Halilhodžić signing a 3-year contract. He successfully led Algeria through the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations qualification and in preparation for the finals tournament to be held in January 2013 in South Africa. The team invited Bosnia and Herzegovina, Halilhodžić's country of birth, for a friendly match in November 2012. Algeria lost in injury time on a rainy night in Algiers. Despite arriving at the final tournament with plenty of confidence and with the emergence of young stars Islam Slimani and El Arbihil El Sawani, as well as the addition to the squad of talented Valencia winger Sofiane Feghouli, Algeria finished bottom of their group, losing their opening 2 matches to Tunisia and Togo without scoring a single goal. Although the result was widely regarded as a disappointment, the Algerian Football Federation decided to keep Halilhodžić in charge and allow the team to gain more experience. Now focusing on the 2014 World Cup qualifiers, Algeria under Halilhodžić secured a spot at the finals tournament on 19 November 2013, having beaten the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations runners-up Burkina Faso in the 2-leg tie on away goals rule following an aggregate score in the African qualifying play-offs. This was only the 4th time the country qualified for a World Cup in 32 years. Algeria's performance at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil was a significant surprise as they beat South Korea and drew with Russia to progress past the group stage for the first time in the team's history. In the round of 16, Les Phoenix had to face a very strong Germany side. Although Algeria put up a very spirited resistance, they lost the game after a goalless 90 minutes, followed by extra time in which Germany scored twice through Anshul and Mesut Özil, with substitute Abdelmamin Diallo pulling back one in the dying moments of the game to make it. Germany later went on to deliver a historic thrashing of hosts Brazil and win their 4th World Cup title. Despite the exit, Algeria's performance was the team's biggest success in history, and Halilhodžić was frequently praised for his strategic counter-attacking tactics, calm yet motivating influence on the players, and skillful game management. Although he was offered a contract extension after the tournament, on 7 July 2014 he left the team. As we venture forward, let's take a closer look at Japan and its impact on our understanding. On 7 March 2015, in the wake of Halilhodžić being shortlisted for and eventual following 2 November 2014 meetings with the Bosnian Football Association FSB representatives rejecting the Bosnia and Herzegovina manager job offer, it was reported that Halilhodžić would take over as the Japan national team's new manager. He was officially appointed on 12 March, replacing Javier Aguirre, who had been sacked over his involvement in a 2011 match-fixing investigation in Spain. In June 2016, Halilhodžić's Japan hosted Bosnia and Herzegovina in a Kirin Cup friendly, losing. In September 2016, the 2018 World Cup qualifying final round kicked off with 6 teams including Japan, Saudi Arabia and Australia fighting for 2 direct qualifying spots. In their opening match, Japan were unexpectedly beaten by the UAE, a contest that featured a controversially disallowed Japanese goal. Nevertheless, the Japanese media raised a number of questions regarding Halilhodžić's squad selection. Since then, media criticism of Halilhodžić's strategy and squad selection continued, and would follow him throughout his time at the job. He abandoned the decade-long Japanese traditional playing style of short passes. Instead, he emphasized intense fighting for the ball, as he called it in French, dual and quick-pace football. His most controversial decision was to drop Keisuke Honda AC Milan, Shinji Kagawa Dortmund and Shinji Okazaki Leicester. Another controversial call was to put Hotaru Yamaguchi, a player in the domestic 2nd division, to his starting lineup. Finishing the group with 6 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses with 7 conceded goals, Japan's performance was inconsistent, yet it secured crucial victories at critical moments to earn itself the top spot. The 2 critical moments was first, winning against Saudi Arabia in November 2016 to end the first half of the group matches in the first place. Second, beating Australia in August 2017 to secure top spot and qualified to the 2018 FIFA World Cup. It is at these 2 moments the Japanese media temporarily admitted Halilhodžić is right on his strategy and his selection of squad. Yet they were called into questions once again after Japan's poor performance in the international friendlies in October and November against Haiti, Brazil and Belgium. In December, Halilhodžić summoned his second and third team to 2017 East Asian Cup. Half of the team were uncapped. This unconventional and experienced Japan team lost to South Korea. The Japanese media saw this as a humiliating defeat. Without realizing the Japan-South Korea football rivalry, Halilhodžić comments, "I was amazed by South Korea's explosiveness of power, technique and control of the game. South Korea dominated us in every way." His comments made himself under siege by the Japanese media for weeks. Halilhodžić was dismissed in early April 2018, following friendlies with non-World Cup teams, a last-minute draw with Mali and 1-2 loss to Ukraine, with former international Akira Nishino named the new head coach. At a news conference, JFA President Kozo Tashima told reporters that poor results and a lack of communication and trust with the players were the reasons for Halilhodžić's dismissal. Halilhodžić's spiky personality frequently ruffled feathers after arriving in Japan to take over from Javier Aguirre in March 2015, and rumors of his impending dismissal swirled throughout his 3-year reign. Soon after Halilhodžić's dismissal, Japan's midfielder Keisuke Honda, who had had an increasingly fractious relationship with the Bosnian throughout 2017 over the head coach's rigid tactics, came out publicly against the fired coach by saying, "To submit myself to the kind of football Halilhodžić played in order to get picked, that would be shameful for me. I'm proud that I've stayed true to myself." On 24 May 2018, Halilhodžić launched a lawsuit in a Tokyo district court against the JFA president Kozo Tashima, contending he was dismissed wrongfully, specifically that Tashima failed to consult the JFA board when deciding to fire Halilhodžić. In July 2018, Halilhodžić made a 4-man shortlist for the vacant Egyptian national team manager job alongside Quique Sanchez Flores, Jorge Luis Pinto, and Javier Aguirre. Aguirre ended up getting hired. Moving on to the next segment, we have Nantes. In October 2018, Halilhodžić became the new manager of FC Nantes, a club he had played for as a striker. His first win came on 22 October when Nantes beat Toulouse at the Stade de la Beaujoire. On 5 May 2019, Nantes beat Dijon at home and Halilhodžić made a club record, winning 5 Ligue 1 matches in a row, a venture which was not done in over 18 years in the club. Halilhodžić's Nantes beat Lille, Paris Saint-Germain, Amiens, Marseille and at the end Dijon to capture that record. On to August 2019, Halilhodžić decided to leave Nantes after disagreements with the club's owner and president Valdemar Kita. Without wasting any more time, let's jump into the fascinating world of Morocco. In August 2019, it was confirmed that Halilhodžić would take over as the Moroccan national team's new manager. His first win came on 10 September when Morocco beat Niger at the Stade de Marrakech. On 29 March 2022, Halilhodžić qualified Morocco for the 2022 World Cup, eliminating DR Congo in the CAF third-round qualifiers. On 11 August 2022, Halilhodžić was officially sacked by the Royal Moroccan Football Federation over disagreements with its president on how the team should move forward. This marked the third time, other two being Ivory Coast and Japan. Halilhodžić was sacked before a World Cup tournament after prior successful qualification. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within personal life and discover their significance. During the Bosnian War in 1992, Halilhodžić was wounded in Mostar but recovered within a few months. He left Mostar in May 1993 due to threats received from the Croatian Defense Council (HVO) as the armed conflict between Bosniaks and Croats escalated in Herzegovina. Following his departure, his house was looted and burned down. In 1995, he became a French citizen. When visiting Mostar with a France 3 crew in 2001, he said, on 23 July 2004, during his tenure as the manager of PSG, Halilhodžić received the Chevalier of the Légion d'Honneur of the French Republic. Halilhodžić is married and has 2 children. His primary residence is in Lille, where his family lives. Vahid described himself as a Yugoslav and was deeply saddened by the disintegration of Yugoslavia when the war started. He speaks Bosnian and French, the result of spending most of his time in France. Prepare yourself for an eye-opening discussion on international goals in the upcoming portion of this video. Scores and results table. Yugoslavia's goal tally first. With our foundation established, it's time to explore managerial statistics and its relevance to our overarching theme. Team from to record GWDL Raja Casablanca 1 October 1997 30 June 1998 Lille 1 September 1998 30 May 2002 Rennes 14 October 2002 30 June 2003 Paris Saint-Germain 1 July 2003 8 February 2005 Trabzonspor 7 October 2005 30 May 2006 Al Ittihad 5 June 2006 1 August 2006 Ivory Coast 13 May 2008 27 February 2010 Dinamo Zagreb 16 August 2010 24 May 2011 Algeria 22 June 2011 7 July 2014 Trabzonspor 14 July 2014 10 November 2014 Japan 12 March 2015 9 April 2018 Nantes 2 October 2018 2 August 2019 Morocco 15 August 2019 11 August 2022 Total managerial record by team and tenure. Now, let's redirect our focus towards player and discover its significance in our narrative. Velež Mostar Yugoslav Cup. Nantes Division 1. Yugoslavia UEFA European Under-21 Championship, 1978. Individual UEFA European Under-21 Championship Golden Player, 1978 Ligue 1 Foreign Player of the Year, 1984, 1985. As we venture forward, let's examine manager in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. Raja Casablanca CAF Champions League, 1997 Botawa, CAF Super Cup runner-up, 1998. Lille Division 2. Paris Saint-Germain Coupe de France. Dinamo Zagreb. HNL. Individual Division 2 Trainer of the Year, 1999 French Manager of the Year, 2001. The spotlight now falls on orders as we delve deeper into its details. Chevalier of the Legion d'Honneur, 2004. Don't forget to check out my other videos for more valuable content.